We've been in the freezer beef business 50 years. As a result of 4-H club feeding steers, we love to do that. In my career with my 2 sisters and later with my 2 children, over a 30-year period, we fed 300 show steers. We love to feed cattle. And as a result of the showing, we had a lot of people inquiring about how to get some beef. And we took this opportunity to start in the freezer beef business. Now, I want to say on the outset, I'm a perfectionist, have always been. And I want to produce for my customers the best possible product in the beef that they eat. And this is the ultimate goal of our whole operation. Since this is the end product of our calves, is through this program. We had Hereford cattle until '78. I bought my first Angus bull. Because being in the cattle marketing business, we saw how these black baldy calves was coming on and giving a profit. And so we bought the first Angus bull, and from then on, it's all been Angus bulls, keeping my own replacements. I think we've got 2 black baldy cows today out of 85 to 90 cows. So we've kept them black. We like what we see, and folks, I like a good animal. I don't care what color it is. And being in the past marketing business, we want to recognize that. But the Angus cattle have worked good for us as far as the marbling, the quality. The first thing that's the most important is the temperament of the animal, the disposition. I don't care how good it is, I will not keep a heifer, or I don't want to buy a bull that's going to be any problem for me to work through a chute, because I'm not as old or young as I used to be. And I don't want to have any problems. And my granddaddy died when I was 8 years old, and one thing I'll never forget him saying, don't ever have a high-headed animal in your herd. If you've got a high-headed, skittish cow and you're trying to get that bunch of cows up, that high head's going to go to the opposite side of the field, opposite end, and will be a problem to get the whole herd up. So this is one thing we do. We want a good disposition. So we look at the birth weight EPD. Of course, we like to have a good weaning weight EPD and a good yearling weight and a good milk EPD. Now, since we're in this cattle feeding business, we also put a lot of emphasis on ribeye and marbling, because this is the end product with us. Now, heifers, replacement heifers, again, look for one that's docile and good temperament. And then the first thing I do is examine her udder, her tit placement. And then I remember her great-grandmother. I'm a little different than most, you know. I remember the mothers, the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers all the way back. And if she's had a good family history, she stays. If there's been a problem, maybe in breeding, conception, so forth, well, I remember that when I'm selecting. As I mentioned earlier, we have to have calves available coming off of feed throughout the year. And our fall calving cows, being September, October, November calvers, and then our winter calving cows, December, January, February. And we have 2 herds that we call the fall calvers, and then a larger herd that is our winter calvers. Well, pink eye, we're mighty, mighty blessed. We used to have a lot of problems. We haven't in the last 20 years. We put up some back rubbers. We, of course, put fly tags in their ears and Sometimes the fly tags don't last as many months as they used to. As far as our other vaccination program, of course, IBR, BVD, PI3, Lepto, Vibrio, these things we try to stay on top of. Blackleg for the K's, we're right on the lake here, and of course we've never had a problem, but it's always good insurance. I think it was 1973, we developed a feeding program for finishing cattle called the Tenderlean program. Now, Tenderlean supplement was developed by Domain Industries in, I think, Wisconsin, and using their formula for making supplement along with nothing but shell corn. This program was used, of course, all of us know we're not in a big cattle feeding area, but it has served its purpose, and I have been on that program ever since '73. And that looks like this is about the 40th year. We try not to feed cattle in the real heat of the summer, July and first part of August. But we normally will put a group of cattle on feed in the middle of August. They start coming off at the end of December. Then we put another group on in the middle of November, and they come off at the end of March and in April. We put another group on in January, February, and they come off in June and July. And this services our customers. We have customers that want beef for grilling in the summer. We got customers that want beef for the winter eating. So we try to have something available for their needs. Ideally, we'll wean our calves and let them out on grass on a, I guess we'll say a mini backgrounding program for 6 to 8 weeks. Some of them may be up to 3 months. And normally, our first cattle will come off of feed about 130 to 135 days. Now this will be the smaller frame cattle, mainly the heifer cattle. Just like Friday, I took all heifers. They'd been on feed 133 days. So some of the cattle will stay on up toward 200 days, the big framey cattle will. Now, in this business, you have different people, or people wanting different size carcasses. You'll want a family with 6 kids will want a big side of beef. The single person or the older couple where the kids have all gone, they might have been a customer 30 years, but they'll say, I'd like to have a smaller half now. And we try to, we've got one animal right up here now that I've got designated for a widow, one half, and then an older couple for the other half, and it'll weigh about 900 when we take them to slaughter. So running from 900 to 1,300 as far as live weight's concerned. And we weigh these cattle occasionally and try to keep track of them. Of course, I used to be able to guess weights pretty good, but we try to be, we check weights and watch what we're doing and look at the animal as an individual. We don't just go in a group and say, we'll load that group. No, they're individuals. My 2 children, Byron and Rachel, are 39, 40 years old. And their friends, being younger than me, they want to talk about these omega-3s and this grass-fed beef. And being in this business, you want to raise and do what the customer wants. And if there's a demand, that's what we want to do. So we're in our 3rd year of this program. And to avoid any flavors, we just do these cattle. The end of January, we stockpile the grass in that fall. They run on that stockpile grass, and then they have some real good high quality hay free choice in addition to the grass until we take them out of there the last of January. And we do that the same way as halves and fourths as far as selling them. everybody that buys will buy again. So we've increased it up. We'll have about close to 15 this time. We started with 4 or 5 the first year, then 10 the last year. So it keeps increasing, and I'm for sure. Now it'll take longer to do this because their counterparts that go on corn, they'll gain over 3 pounds a day on the corn. And on the grass, on a long period of time, when you consider droughts and all, you're looking at maybe 1.6 pounds. And we don't feed anything to the cattle but the grass, because we want to be truthful when we tell this customer that it's grass. It is grass, no grain whatsoever. See, these cattle on grass will be from 21 to 27 months old, and we take them off to the processor when they're weighing from 1,000 to 1,200 pounds, and they're all steers. I have thought about spaying some heifers, because the heifer carcass size would be very, very good, I think, in this business. But we've never done that yet. And when we're selecting cattle to go on this grass program, we select the smallest frame calves that we've got. We have never spent 1 penny on advertising, not 1 penny. It's all word of mouth. I'm a communications person. I want to talk to my customers. If I have a new customer, I talk to them on the phone for possibly an hour, tell them what they can do with each and every cut in that side of beef. Because many of them, folks, they haven't had this experience, and we want to make this a pleasant experience for them. We need to maintain our position in the marketplace to continue to make our beef, our product, a part of the human diet. Today you find so many people that are vegetarians, so many people that are anti-red meat. They'll eat chicken, fish, whatever. I think beef's good for us. We just need to do all we can to keep this product good and healthy where we can be proud of it. It's what I want everybody to do. Take pride in their product.